I unsubbed from FF14 for a month. Not because I was mad, not because I rage quit after wiping an M6S for the 10th time. I just needed a break. That pesky ad phase will test you. So I went back to World of Warcraft thinking, I'll poke around for a week, get bored, move on. Spoiler, I didn't. Turns out, swapping MMOs after years in one game, kinda wild. So here's what I learned: the good, the bad, and the accidentally queued for the wrong expansion in LFG. 1. The honeymoon phase is real, but short. So here's the thing. Coming back to WoW after a long stretch in FF14, it actually felt really good. There was this weird comfort to it. The music, the character select screen, the way my orc still looked like he could punch a bear and win, it all just hit that nostalgic sweet spot. It was like seeing an old friend after so long. Combat felt crisp, movement was smooth, and the pace was fast, like jumping from a slow dance into a mosh pit. And, I'll be honest, that energy was kind of refreshing. That first week back, pure dopamine. I was questing, collecting, dinging levels like candy, and for a moment I thought, dang, maybe I did miss this more than I realized. But the honeymoon doesn't last forever. Eventually, the cracks show. The little frustrations, the dated systems, the messy and cluttered buff on the top right, the stuff you forgot annoyed you. I can't tell you how many times I've canceled a cast thinking I could slide cast like in Final Fantasy. But even with all that, I'm still having fun. It's not perfect, but it doesn't have to be. Sometimes, just feeling excited to log in again, that's enough. 2. The do whatever you want freedom hit me hard. If there's one thing WoW made very clear right away, it's this. You're on your own, kid. You log in, pick a zone, maybe get a breadcrumb quest, and then it's like, all right, champ, go nuts. No main story quest guiding you from town to town, no NPC saying, we must go east to the shimmering whatever. Just figure it out. At first it felt kind of nice. Like, finally, I can play at my own pace. But 5 minutes later, I was asking myself, wait, am I doing the right thing? Is this content relevant? Is this from 3 expansions ago? WoW gives you freedom, but it's the kind where you also need to Google half your decisions to make sure you're not wasting time. FF14 might feel more on rails, but that rail is polished, scenic, and usually leads to something worth doing. WoW, it's like a giant buffet. Everything looks good, but no one tells you what pairs well with what. And suddenly you've got shrimp, chocolate cake, and spaghetti on one plate. That freedom can be refreshing. It can also be overwhelming. And depending on the day, it's either exactly what I want or way too much. 3. The community vibe shift was a lot. 3. The community vibe shift was a lot. So here's something I didn't expect to hit so hard. The social vibe in WoW and FF14, night and day. In FF14, I could slash pet a random Lalafell in Limsa and somehow end up in a 30-minute group photo shoot. People emote, they slash it, they glam, they vibe. Even Duty Finder has this unspoken we're all in this together energy, even if no one says a word. WoW? Whole different mood. I joined a dungeon, typed, hey all, and someone immediately left the group. Killed the first boss? Nothing. Said GG at the end, someone left before the loot even dropped. It's not that people are mean necessarily, it's just way more transactional. Fast queues, fast clears, zero chat, zero fluff. You're there to get in, get loot, and get out like it's a heist. And look, I get it. People are busy. Not everyone wants to roleplay in a dungeon queue. But coming from 14's more wholesome social culture, it was a little jarring. 4. WoW's endgame is still dangerously addicting. If there's one thing WoW still absolutely nails, it's the endgame dopamine loop. You hit max level and suddenly there's this explosion of stuff to chase, and somehow it all feels weirdly satisfying. Mount collecting alone? Easily a full-time job. There are hundreds of rare drops, rep grinds, event exclusives, and secret puzzles. I told myself I'd only farm a couple. 3 hours later, I was knee-deep in a dungeon from 2009 trying to get a ghost moose. A ghost moose. Then there's transmog farming. Every dungeon becomes a runway. You're not just running for loot, you're chasing that perfect chest piece that dropped once in 2016 and hasn't shown up since. It's frustrating, it's addicting, it's fashion-fueled madness. And yes, I'm fully invested. The new delves are also surprisingly solid. They're fast, they scale, and they actually feel like bite-sized content with decent rewards. Not game-changing, but fun enough to squeeze into a session when I don't feel like raiding. And speaking of raiding, LFG is still chaos, but in a good way. I queued for what's basically WoW's version of an alliance raid, and it was spicy. No cutscenes, no emotional dialogue, just 30 strangers speed-running bosses and accidentally pulling half the room. It's messy, it's unhinged, but sometimes It's exactly the energy I want. 5. I kinda needed this break. Here's what surprised me most after a month back in WoW. I didn't just play a different game, I got a different perspective. I'd been in the FF14 loop for so long, I forgot what it felt like to step outside it, to jump into something faster, messier, less polished, but also more chaotic in a good way. WoW gave me that. It reminded me that not every MMO needs to hold your hand or deliver a cinematic storyline to be fun. And maybe I needed that. I needed the freedom to log in and just do stuff. No emotional stakes, no lore rabbit holes, just dungeon, loot, transmog, repeat. And sometimes, that kind of low-commitment fun is exactly what recharges your love for the genre. I'm not quitting 14, just taking an overdue vacation. I'm not suddenly switching teams, I'm learning to grow with both. But I am glad I took the detour, because leaving, just for a bit, helped me appreciate what I had and what I missed. So yeah, 1 month in WoW after years in FF14, definitely eye-opening. It reminded me that MMOs aren't about loyalty, they're about finding what clicks for you in the moment. And sometimes, swapping games is less about leaving and more about remembering why you love them in the first place. Whether you're grinding mounts in Azeroth or sipping tea in Eorzea, just make sure you're having fun, not just checking boxes. And hey, if you're still staring at your MMO launcher wondering what to click, maybe it's okay to try both. I'm just here chasing loot and bad decisions like the rest of you. Thanks for hanging out with me through this little MMO detour. Like and subscribe if you like this content and want to see more. I've got more to say, more to grind, and definitely more chaos to cause. So I'll see you on the next Final Bout.